Are you planning to visit Saudi Arabia? Here are some things you should avoid doing. Saudi Arabia, a land rich in history, culture, and customs, offers an incredible travel experience. However, as a respectful traveler, it's crucial to be aware of the local etiquette and customs to ensure a pleasant, trouble-free journey. From dress codes to dietary restrictions, we're about to unveil some of the most important do's and don'ts in this fascinating country. Let's dive into the do's and don'ts while visiting Saudi Arabia. Rule number 1. Dress modestly. Saudi Arabia, with its deeply rooted traditions and customs, places great emphasis on modest attire. It's not just a fashion statement, but a reflection of respect for the local culture. The dress code is straightforward. For men, it's all about loose, long trousers and shirts, preferably covering the shoulders and knees. No shorts or sleeveless shirts, folks. Now, for women, it's a bit more specific. Traditionally, a loose-fitting, full-length robe known as an abaya is worn. It's also recommended to cover the hair with a hijab or a shawl, especially in more conservative areas or during religious occasions. But don't worry, it's not as rigid as it sounds. Recent years have seen a relaxation in these rules, with colorful abayas and open hair becoming more common in certain areas. Remember, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Scene script. Rule number 2, respect religious customs. Saudi Arabia, a country rich in history and culture, is deeply rooted in its Islamic traditions. As visitors, it's crucial that we approach these traditions with the utmost respect. This is not just about observing cultural norms, it's about demonstrating appreciation for a belief system that forms the backbone of this society. One of the most visible aspects of Saudi Arabia's religious customs is the 5 daily prayers. These prayer times, known as salat, punctuate the rhythm of daily life. The entire country pauses for prayer, with shops closing and streets quieting. As a visitor, it's important to respect this practice. If you find yourself outside during prayer times, just take a moment to stand aside and let the local people fulfill their religious duties. Now let's talk about mosques. These beautiful structures are not just architectural masterpieces but also sacred spaces for worship. Non-Muslim visitors are allowed in some mosques like the King Fahd Mosque in Jeddah, but many mosques are off limits. If you do visit, be sure to dress modestly and behave respectfully. Remember, it's not a tourist attraction, it's a place of worship. The call to prayer, or adhan, is another religious custom you'll encounter. It's a hauntingly beautiful sound that echoes throughout the cities 5 times a day. It's a call to worship, a reminder of faith. When you hear it, pause and appreciate this centuries-old tradition. So when you're exploring the vibrant souks or savoring the aromatic Saudi cuisine, remember to respect the religious customs that are so integral to Saudi life. It's not about conforming to a culture that's not your own. It's about understanding, appreciating, and showing respect for a way of life that's different from yours. And who knows? This respect might open doors to conversations, friendships, and experiences that will enrich your journey in ways you never imagined. Because at the end of the day, travel is not just about seeing new places, it's about experiencing and understanding different cultures. Showing respect for religious customs is key to a successful visit. Rule number 3, avoid public displays of affection. As you navigate your journey through Saudi Arabia, you'll quickly notice that this is a society where modesty and privacy are highly valued. This extends to how affection is shown between individuals, especially in public. In Saudi Arabia, public displays of affection are generally seen as disrespectful and inappropriate. This includes actions that might seem innocuous or commonplace in other cultures, such as holding hands, hugging, or kissing. Even a casual pat on the back or a friendly handshake between opposite genders can be frowned upon. This cultural norm is rooted in the country's conservative Islamic traditions, which promotes modesty and respect for personal boundaries. The societal expectation is that expressions of affection should be kept within the private sphere, away from the public eye. Understanding and respecting this cultural norm is crucial when visiting or living in Saudi Arabia. It's not just about following rules, but about showing respect for the values and traditions of the country. So remember, in Saudi Arabia, it's best to keep affection private. Rule number 4, alcohol and pork are prohibited. Now this might seem a bit strange to some, especially if you hail from a culture where these items are a staple part of your diet. But let's delve into the reasons behind this prohibition and the potential penalties for breaking these rules. In Saudi Arabia, these prohibitions stem from religious beliefs. The country is predominantly Muslim, and according to Islamic law, the consumption of pork and alcohol is strictly forbidden. Pork is considered impure, and alcohol is seen as a mind-altering substance that could lead one to commit sins. It's not just about personal consumption either. Selling, carrying, or even promoting these items is illegal as well. The Saudi authorities are quite serious about these laws. If you're caught with alcohol, for instance, the penalties can be severe, ranging from hefty fines to imprisonment and even corporal punishment in extreme cases. The same goes for pork. Even if you're a foreigner, these laws apply to you, and claiming ignorance won't get you off the hook. So, what does this mean for you as a visitor? Well, it's simple. Respect the local customs and laws. When you're packing for your trip, make sure you leave behind any alcohol or pork products. If you're dining out, stick to the local cuisine, which is rich, diverse, and absolutely delicious, by the way. You won't miss your bacon or beer when you're feasting on mouth-watering dishes like kabsa or savoring a refreshing cup of Arabic coffee. This isn't about forcing you to change your lifestyle or preferences. It's about respecting and understanding the culture and norms of the place you're visiting. It's about being a responsible and considerate global citizen. And trust me, the experience you'll gain, the memories you'll make, and the respect you'll earn will far outweigh any temporary abstinence from pork or alcohol. Stick to the rules to avoid any legal trouble. Rule number 5, be aware of photography restrictions. Now this one might catch some of you snap-happy folks off guard. In Saudi Arabia, it's not about taking photographs wherever and whenever you want. There are certain rules and restrictions you need to abide by. Government buildings, palaces, even certain public spaces are off limits unless you have explicit permission. So, if you had plans to photograph the stunning architecture or the intricate details of a Saudi palace, you might want to reconsider or at least get that necessary permission first. But it's not just about places. This rule applies to people too. Capturing candid shots of locals without their consent is a big no-no. So, whether you're a professional photographer or just someone who loves to capture memories, remember this golden rule while in Saudi Arabia. Always ask for permission before you click that shutter. To wrap up, let's quickly revisit the key points. As we've journeyed through this exploration of Saudi Arabian customs and traditions, we've uncovered some essential tips to keep in mind when visiting this fascinating country. Our journey began with an emphasis on the importance of dressing modestly. Saudi Arabia places a high value on modesty, and dressing appropriately is a way to show respect for the local culture. Next, we delved into religious customs. A deep reverence for religion is woven into the fabric of Saudi Arabian society. As visitors, it's crucial for us to respect these customs, whether it's by observing the holy month of Ramadan or understanding the significance of the 5 daily prayers. We then moved on to the topic of public displays of affection. Remember, it's best to err on the side of caution and avoid these in public. This is another way we can show our respect for the local culture. Our exploration also led us to discuss the prohibitions on alcohol and pork. It's important to remember that these substances are not just frowned upon, they're outright forbidden. So let's make sure we respect these laws to ensure a smooth and enjoyable visit. Photography restrictions were also a key point of our discussion. In our world of social media and instant sharing, it's easy to forget that not every moment is meant to be captured. In Saudi Arabia, it's important to be mindful of when and where we take photos. As we conclude, let's remember that understanding and respecting Saudi Arabia's customs and traditions is not just about following rules. It's about immersing ourselves in a rich and diverse culture, about experiencing the world from a different perspective. It's about showing our respect for the people and the place we're visiting. Our exploration today is just a glimpse into the vibrant culture of Saudi Arabia. There's so much more to learn, to understand, and to experience. So whether you're planning a trip or just curious about different cultures, I hope this journey has piqued your interest and broadened your horizons. Remember, understanding and respecting the local culture will make your visit more enjoyable. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more travel tips and advice.